Hey folks, today we're going to take a look at the Beretta PX4 Storm Compact. So first we will safety check. What is it? It is a hammer fired, double action, single action, polymer framed handgun. Manufactured in Italy by Beretta. A matter of fact, the PX4 Storm was Beretta's first polymer framed handgun, as far as I know. The original PX4 was introduced in 2004. It was a successor to the Beretta 8000 Cougar, which had an alloy frame. So this is an updated Beretta Cougar, although it doesn't look a whole lot like the Beretta Cougar, but it does retain some of the Cougar's design, such as the rotating barrel, which we will get into here shortly. So let's start off with the looks of the gun. This gun seems to be an either love it or hate it gun. Very few people that I have encountered pick this gun up and look at it and say, well, yeah, it looks okay. They either really like the way it looks or they really think it's ugly. If you look at it, I mean, you know, this is not your typical slab-sided poly-framed handgun. It has a lot of lines, a lot of angles going on here. It looks Italian. It definitely does. And if you look really close, the SIG P320 slide looks an awful lot like this, doesn't it? At least I think it does. I think it looks an awful lot like this. Anyway, you know, looks have nothing to do with how a handgun performs. As I said, the original PX4 full size came out in 2004. The compact followed in 2012. And they also make a subcompact. We're not going to talk about the full size and the compact other than the full size, the compact out of the box is ambidextrous. It has an ambidextrous safety decocker. It has ambi slide releases. I have removed the right side slide release on this and replaced it with a plug that is available. Well, I got this one from Brownells, but I believe you can get it from Beretta also. The full size does not have an ambi slide release. The frame is molded differently here, and there is no way to add the right side slide release to the full size. However, the compact does come out of the box with the slide release on the right side also. Very easy to take off if you don't want it or don't need it. It does save a little bit of width because the gun is a tad wide. If you live in a free state, this is going to come with two 15-round magazines. These are very high quality magazines. They are Italian made. I would probably bet that they are Metgars, but I don't know that for sure, and they're not marked, but they do look like Metgars, and they are high quality. They are steel with a poly base plate, but nice magazines. Okay, retail price on this is $650. Street price runs anywhere from, well, I see them in the $5 to $550 range all the time. If you really pay attention and watch, you can find some deals on them less than that. But you know, average street price is somewhere between $500 and $550. On the compact, let me give you the dimensions here. Barrel length's 3.27, say 3.3 inches. The overall height of the gun is 5 inches. The overall length of the gun is 6.9 inches. And the weight with an empty magazine is 27.3 ounces. Those figures I gave you are as stated by Beretta. I have not put this on a scale or thrown the tape measure up against it to check it, but you know, they're close. Width, 1.42 inches. That is measured at the widest point, which on this is going to be on the edges of the bat wing safety levers, or in the case of the compact, when it has the ambi slide release, they are going to be the same width as the edges of the safety levers here, which is 1.42 inches. If you just measure the width at the slide at its widest point, it comes out about 1.16 inches. So, you know, it is a little wide when you factor in the controls. This gun is available in 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson. This is the 9mm version. It's also available in a Type F and a Type G. Okay? Very seldom are you going to see a Type G on the shelf. It's 99% of the time it's going to be a Type F. The difference is the Type F, this is a safety decocker. So when you decock the weapon, that lever is going to stay down, which is going to disconnect your trigger and have the gun on safe. You will have to manually flip that up to the fire position to shoot. Okay? On the G version, this is a decocker only, as this one is. So the lever spring loads back to the fire position. So there is no safety. Okay? This gun is very, very, very easy to convert to the G version. Unlike the 92 series that required some parts replacements or parts changes to do that, and actually until here recently required some light machining to be done on the slide to convert those to a G, decock only. This gun does not. It does not require any parts. Anybody with a little bit of mechanical ability and a punch and a little patience can do this in a matter of minutes. It is extremely easy to convert to the Type G. Okay? And I recommend that if you're going to carry the gun. I'm not a big fan of safeties on a carry gun. And you'll hear guys scream, it's all training, training, training. And to some extent, that is true. But I have seen people that were very well trained at their job operating under high levels of stress when adrenaline was flowing, and believe me, the fewer actions you need to go through, the better your chance of success. I don't care how well you train. When things get crazy, the less you have to remember, the better off you are. So, and you know, I think a safety is a total waste on a double action, single action type firing system. This has an extremely long, heavy double action pull. Okay? Single action, light, crisp, nice clean break. Double action, long. and somewhat heavy, but it is very smooth. Look, guys, we're talking about a carry gun here. This isn't a match gun. To me, too many people talk too much about triggers and pull weight on defensive guns, carry guns. Look, it doesn't matter that much. I'm sure there are guys out there that is a big thing, but you know, it's like buying a car that runs a 14-second quarter mile compared to a car that runs the quarter in 14.5. Yes, the 14-second car is faster. Does it make any difference to 99.9% of us 99.9% of the time? Absolutely not. I don't care. I don't care about trigger pull weight. I do like a smooth trigger. I don't like a lot of creep or grittiness. And that's what we have here. There's no stacking. There's no grit. It's smooth. It's long. It's somewhat heavy, but it's smooth, and I'm fine with that on a carry gun. Okay? Once you get the first shot off, the gun is in single action. The trigger is, you know, you have a little bit of take up and then a nice solid wall, clean break. No issues whatsoever. Trigger reset, there again, I think this is something that's talked about way too much on a carry gun, but if you want to see it, the reset is right there. It is very pronounced. Again, take up, wall, break. I think the gun has a fantastic trigger. We're not talking about a match gun here. I'm not taking this gun and shooting for pinpoint accuracy. This is a defensive gun. This is a carry gun. The trigger is fine. You know, practice the double action to single action. When you go to the range, get in the habit of practicing that double action first shot. Okay? You're not going to be as accurate, probably. But, you know, like I said, we're not shooting bullseyes. It's plenty accurate enough for what the gun is designed to do. You know, so, but you need to practice it. You do. You need to get out of the habit of loading a magazine, putting one in the chamber, and firing strictly in single action. Okay? You need to get in the habit of practicing that double action first pull. But it's not an issue, guys. I like a double action, single action gun because, you know, I do like that long trigger pull on that first shot. It works out to be a fantastic safety on a gun. You know, you're not going to hook something reholstering this gun if you're paying attention to what's going on and bump that trigger and have a negligent discharge and shoot yourself in the leg. Okay? Some guys don't like that. Some guys do not like that transition from double action to single action. They like that trigger that feels exactly the same every pull of the trigger. And, you know, if you like that, fine. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm just going to say for 99% of us on a defensive gun, it doesn't matter. I'll take the added safety of the double action first pull. That doesn't mean I don't own striker fire guns, and I carry striker fire guns, but I have no issues at all with a long trigger pull. And trigger weight doesn't bother me as long as it's smooth. I don't like a trigger that stacks or gets real gritty. But anyway, enough about triggers. As I said, the gun's available in 3 sizes. Rotating barrel, like the Beretta Cougar, is kind of it's kind of unique. You have the Grand Power out there. What is that? The K100 or something that also uses a rotating barrel. Beretta wasn't the first to use it, and it's not a Beretta exclusive. However, I do believe Beretta has probably produced more guns with the rotating barrel than anyone else. It's fantastic design. It's very strong. It's simple. It's reliable. So there's that. Another buzzword you hear a lot is bore axis. That's another one of those buzzwords that I think is talked about way too much. If you don't know what bore axis is, let's pretend this is the gun, okay? If the center of the barrel, or the bore, was directly in line with the center of our forearm, then the recoil would be straight back, okay? That would make the gun very easy to keep on target. As we move that barrel up, which we have to do with current designs because we have to have room for the trigger group and other mechanical items that need to be there to make the gun operate. As we move the center line of that bore above the center of our arm, then we end up with more barrel rise on recoil because we are changing the leverage, okay, and the pivot point. Look, it's a 9mm. I don't have trouble controlling a 9mm. I think there again, guys, you know, they talk about the differences, but they are so slight in real world use. Look, I've got SIGs, which typically have a very high bore axis. I have own and shoot Glocks that have a relatively low bore axis, and it makes no difference to me. It's a 9mm. Most people, it's just not that big of a deal. This is a self-defense weapon. There again, if you're speed shooting, precision speed shooting, yeah, I'm sure to some people that would be a huge difference. This is a defensive gun. Don't worry about the bore axis. Don't worry about the trigger pull weight, okay? It really, in the real world, for a defensive gun, it doesn't make any difference. Disassembly, very simple here. Make sure the gun is empty. There is no need to pull the trigger on this. It has two Glock type tabs. Pull down. No need to pull the slide back to relieve pressure. Slide it off. There you go. It does look a little different in here. We have our recoil spring and our cam block. It is a captured recoil spring. Rotate the barrel a little bit. I find it easiest just to push it out through the ejection port. There's your barrel. This is a chrome lined bore also, guys, which is something that you don't often see in a civilian or consumer handgun. You know, is it that important? Probably not, but it does provide a longer wearing barrel, which, you know, the chances of shooting this and wearing it out, at least for me, will never happen. But it does add corrosion protection, which is a good thing. And you see this a lot on military weapons, and that mainly is for corrosion protection, but it does enhance the bore life quite a bit. Inside of the slide, nice machine work, no machine marks anywhere. It's, you know, it's a Beretta. It's as you would expect. It's machined very well. The fit and finish is very good. The quality is excellent. I wouldn't expect anything less from Beretta. As I said, captured recoil spring. Now, there was, I have read that on some of the very early PX4 compacts, it did not affect the full size, that they did have some feeding issues, and Beretta did change the recoil spring to address that. If you notice, this recoil spring has 3 coils right in the middle of the spring that are compressed and set right against one another. That is the updated spring. So if you buy one of these used, the compact did hit the market in 2012. But if you have any reliability or feeding issues, and I believe the problem was a cycling issue with light loaded 115 grain ammo. So, you know, some of your lesser expensive target rounds like Winchester White Box or something like that, I believe that was the problem. They just weren't enough to cycle the slide completely and could cause some feeding issues, maybe a little more prone to malfunctions from limp wristing. Anyway, Beretta did redesign the recoil spring, excuse me, and that is how you tell. The updated spring has the 3 tight coils right in the middle of the spring, and I hope that shows up okay and you guys can see that. So if you do happen to get one and you're having issues with it, check the spring. If it has the old style spring in it, call Beretta. I'm relatively sure they would send you an updated recoil spring without any hassle. Reassembly, simple. You notice one end of this has a sharp point on it, or a pin. That goes into the cam block. When I call this a cam block, if you notice there is a lug on top this block. There we go. That lug engages this slot in the bottom of the barrel. There's a groove, okay? And it sets on there, so when the gun recoils, it rotates the barrel to unlock it. So that projection on the cam block rides in the cam groove on the bottom of the barrel, and that's what rotates the barrel, okay? Anyway, reassembly. Pointy end in to the cam block. Set the barrel in the slide pretty well the way you would any other conventional Browning design, okay? Rotate the barrel till it's locked, which would be clockwise if you're looking at the slide in this orientation. And just simply set that in there. You can feel it engage, you can feel the lug engage the cam on the barrel, the cam groove, okay? That's it, done. The decocker on this, I realize a lot of guys flinch a little bit decocking a gun with a loaded chamber. You know, I know the Beretta just really kind of makes you flinch, the sound of the hammer striking, unlike the SIG that lowers the hammer very slowly. Guys, this is a safe system. If you look, and I'm not sure whether you can see it, but the firing pin on this gun is made in 2 pieces, and when you rotate the decocker, the back section of the firing pin rotates up, okay? So it becomes misaligned with the other section of the firing pin. So there is no way that the hammer can transfer energy to the firing pin when you decock it. So it is a very safe system, okay? They also offer, and Beretta just came out with this, they offer the PX4 Storm Compact Carry, which is available only in 9mm currently, whereas the standard PX4 Compact is available in 9 and 40. It comes out of the box with the stealth levers, which are available from Beretta, okay, which does away with the batwing protrusions here. It comes with a lower profile slide release, which, you know, I don't really have a problem with this one. And it does come minus the right side slide release with the plug in it, as I have done here. It comes with a Cerakoted slide, which is kind of a gray color instead of Beretta's standard Brunaton finish, which this is. And it comes with the Beretta has a 3-button magazine release kit that comes with 3 different size magazine releases. I actually have the medium in here in this gun. The compact carry version does come with the 3 mag release buttons in the box. It does come with a different set of sights, I believe night sights, and it ships with a set of Talon grips. They are not installed on the gun, but they do include them in the box. However, retail price on the compact carry is $8.99. I'm not sure what street price is at this time because there aren't that many of them out there. So, you know, we'll know a little more here in a few months and have to see where the street price settles in at. I don't think it's worth the extra money. The plug to eliminate the right side slide release is a couple of dollars. Okay, it's about $40 for the stealth lever kit if you want it. It's $15 for the mag release button kit from Beretta. Okay, so I don't think it's worth the extra money for the compact carry. I would buy the standard PX4 Storm Compact and put the parts I wanted on it. Okay. As far as the stealth levers go, I really haven't had a problem. I've got a set of them. I have not installed them. I don't really have a problem with these. Now, I am carrying this currently in a Klinger Stingray Kydex inside the waistband holster. All right, and it does have the sweat shield. And with the sweat shield, it's not an issue, though the safety levers are not a problem. However, if the sweat shield wasn't there, it would be an issue. Those do stick out quite a bit. And, you know, I've heard guys with wet hands grabbing the slide to operate the gun and their hands slipping and cutting their fingers or catching their fingers on the batwing levers. It's not been an issue for me, but I can definitely see where that is a possibility. Okay. Another thing with the Type F gun, where this is a safety and decocker, it is possible to accidentally engage the safety manipulating the slide. All right. And then if you don't remember to flip the safety back off, you got a dead gun. Dead gun's not a good thing if you are in a defensive situation and you need the gun. So if you convert it to a G, it's no biggie. It's going to spring back up anyway. So, you know, even if you do hit that when you're racking the slide, doesn't affect anything. Okay. It's up to you. I find that the bat wings, even though they are a little ugly in my opinion, and I do see where your hand slipping could catch them. And as I said, I had to modify this holster slightly. The edge of the sweat shield here, I had to heat it up, and I don't know if you can see that, but I had to heat it up and roll this edge out just a little bit right there. Okay. Reason I had to do that is on reholstering, it would catch, okay, and push the slide back. So, you know, a couple minutes with a hairdryer, guys, problem solved. One of the advantages of the batwing levers, though, is they do give you something to grab a hold of, or, you know, one-handed manipulation. They stick out enough you could hook them on the edge of your belt or hook them on the edge of a table or something like that. Something to consider, and they do give you a good purchase. Reach up with your thumb and decock without changing your grip if you need to do that. So, you know, you may want the stealth levers, you may find that these really aren't an issue. As I said, with the way I'm carrying this and the holster I'm carrying it, they're a non-issue. So, you know, I went ahead and bought a set of the stealth levers, and I also bought the low profile slide release. They're laying in a box back there. So, bottom line, I think this is a gun that is overlooked far too often. And I'll tell you why. The looks, somewhat, like I said, this gun's polarizing. People either really like it or really dislike the looks. And I also don't think when you pick this gun up and just hold it, I don't think it has the best in-hand feel of in the world. Okay? I mean, something like a Walther PPQ. You pick a PPQ up, or an H&K, you know, the P30 or something like, and the grip just, I mean, it just feels right. Okay? This gun, not so much. However, when you shoot this gun, it feels fantastic. It points extremely well, very naturally. So this is a gun you really need to shoot before you decide on. You know, a good-looking gun is great. I personally happen to like the looks of this gun. But it was a gun that I picked up and handled several times and laid back down and purchased something else. But for some reason I kept going back. Every time I would go in and see one of these, I would have to handle it. But for a long time, I ended up putting it back down and walking out of there with a different gun until I shot one. And I had to have it. And I have found that that has been true. I've let, you know, I've got a private range, and I invite people over occasionally, and I have let several people shoot this gun alongside of several other guns out of my that I've taken with me, and I just sit back and watch, and their reaction mimics mine in a lot of ways. It's a gun that they will pick up and they will lay back down and then go pick something else up and shoot it. Okay? Once they shoot this gun, they want to continue to shoot it. And several of them have had to go out and purchase a PX4 after shooting this gun. And this is a gun also that was not unknown to them, but was overlooked by them. So if you get a chance, shoot the PX4. I think you will be pleasantly surprised, and it may very well become one of your favorite guns, which this has become for me. And I'm glad that I got the opportunity to shoot it, and because if I hadn't, I don't think I would have ever purchased it. It's a great gun, guys. It makes a great carry gun. 15+1 if you live in a free state. It does come with interchangeable back straps, but I'll tell you straight off, they are a royal pain in the rear to change out. I really like it. It has been through about 800 rounds so far, and that's a variety of off-the-shelf ammo, both hollow point and just full metal jacket ball stuff. A lot of my own reloads, with my own cast bullets, and the gun has been 100%. It has not had a single malfunction. Okay, I just think it's a really good gun. And I think a lot more people would have this gun in their arsenal if they would take the opportunity and shoot one. So find a Beretta PX4 and shoot it. The full size is great also. The full size is available in 9, 40, and 45. And also it is available in 9x21 in the European market, I believe, not over here. The compact is only available in 9 and 40. I feel like the compact balances better than the full size. The guns are, you know, the full size is about 3/4 of an inch longer here, overall length, and about a 1/2 inch in the grip. Maybe not quite a 1/2 inch. The full size does hold 17 rounds in 9mm versus 15, so you get a couple of extra rounds in the mag. But for some reason, I feel like the compact balance is better. The subcompact, just so you know, does not have the rotating barrel. The subcompact does use a conventional Browning tilt barrel. Just not enough room. The gun is fairly stubby. The subcompact doesn't appeal to me. Its width and everything is exactly the same as the compact in the full size. It just, I don't know. It looks just kind of chunky and odd to me. However, everything that I have read and everyone that I have talked to that has shot it, it seems to be a fine shooter also. So guys, I've rambled enough. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm sure I didn't cover everything, but you know, one more quick note on the Picatinny rail on the compact. If that's important to you, make sure that any accessories you want to run on the gun are going to work. The front of the trigger guard is rather wide on this gun, and on the compact the rail is rather short and it has a single T-slot. Okay, I have found that some accessories will hit back here and won't go on far enough to lock in to the rail. Okay, not all of them, but I have found that to be a little bit of an issue on the compact with some accessories. The full size, you've got enough extra rail real estate there that it doesn't seem to be an issue. So that is something to keep in mind if that's important to you. You know, it's a carry gun. I don't really have any need to carry accessories on my carry gun, but you may. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If that's important, check and make sure, you know, check the forums. Somebody out there, I'm sure, will have tried it on a compact and be able to tell you whether or not it's going to work. So that's it, guys. We're going to cut it off here. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Outstanding defensive handgun. No issues betting my life on this particular gun at all. It has become one of my favorites, and I think if you give it a chance, it may become one of yours. So I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and take care.